This is a short video showing how the DTO software recipe and menu coster program works. The program is designed to enable calculations to be made to determine the ingredient cost for a recipe or menu. The program is designed to be simple and enjoyable to use. When the program is opened, this page is presented. Buttons to the right allow various operations to occur. A help tip is presented when the mouse cursor is moved over any of these buttons when they're enabled. For example, these ones here. Along the top is a simple set of drop-down options. One of these is the help option, which when selected reveals a simple but comprehensive help menu. That's here, and there's various items there to help guide through the methods used. The first menu option will be described later. That's this one here. A recipe will have a number of ingredients listed and a method described. The recipe will also stipulate for how many people this recipe is for. The program allows all ingredients to be listed and the cost given. Firstly, let's have a look at adding an ingredient here. Let's say flour. A drop-down list is provided here to allow for choosing which measure would be required. Let's go for a cup here, and I'll put a cup of flour, and I'll put an ingredient price here, just making one up, of course. And then we obviously need to put down how many serves the recipe is for. Now the point here is that the user would have to ascertain, doing a bit of research, how much a bag of flour say would cost, and then how many cups would be in that bag, and then working out in each individual unit cost. So what the program is looking at here is 1 cup of flour is going to cost 40 cents, and in this recipe will serve 4 people. Choosing this button here, we'll add it to the menu list. Now we'll notice here that the message box that comes up is asking if you want to work with fractions. You can understand that if one cup is used, or one of anything is used, the program needs to know whether you then want to work in fractions or whole decimal numbers when it comes to choosing, say, the recipe costs for more than 4 people, say 7 people or something like that. I'm going to say yes, that we want to use a cup measure here, a fraction measure for the cups, and that goes in 1 cup of flour. Let's put another one in, say beef. Now here I'm going to put a decimal in, 1.2 kilograms, say, of beef, and I'm not quite sure there's a reasonable price maybe for a kilogram of beef. And this time it's going to just put the ingredient straight in the list, because obviously you're using 1.2 here. It doesn't need to know whether you're using fractions or not. It's obviously going to assume that you are using decimals throughout. And let's put something else in here, say carrot. And this time I'll just say a half of carrot. And this time, if you're using an ingredient on its own without needing to measure an ingredient, it's just 1 of, there we go, one carrot. And notice that these all have to be in singular. They don't have to be in singular, but it makes more sense in singular than if more than 1 carrot is used. The program will show carrots instead of carrot. You'll see this later as we go along. I'm going to make up an ingredient cost here again for this, and there it goes. You notice how this box is now blanked out because we can't change the number of serves until we save the file, which is going to come up shortly. And there's a total cost of how much all of these ingredients are costing at the moment. If for some reason one of these items needs to be removed, simply click it and remove it, and then this reverts to the cost left after that item is removed. And once you've added all the ingredients in and put a method in, of course you can save it to file. So I'll bring up a recipe that's already been produced. Here's one for tempura fish. You can see how it all looks when it's all put in. There are all the ingredients with all their quantities and a method for how to produce or prepare the recipe or the dish. Total cost is there, and you can see now at this stage this recipe serves 4. This box is clear now to be used, because I can then ask how much it would cost to use to cater for 7, and as calculator appears, when I click that, all of these amounts and costs are listed again for 7 people, and there's the total cost there. And as I said before, if I chose, say, 1 egg and for 4 people, and I now chose 7, I've asked it to work in fractions, and therefore it gives 1 3/4 eggs, not 1.75. Okay. When you are creating one of these menu lists, you'll notice also, I'll start from the beginning again. That's the list cleared. If there was a particular favorite supplier, I'm going to call this something. Obviously, there could be a title for the recipe. Beef curry, something. And here, I could actually have a supplier. As a restaurant or a caterer, I might have a particular supplier, and I have the opportunity to create a price list for that supplier. I'm going to choose one here, and I'm going for Suburban Meat Supplies, just a fictitious company. Now what's happened here is that it's brought in a price list that's already been prepared for that supplier, and you can see the various options there. And you can see also that if I choose one of these boxes are now blanked out because it's been pre-selected that the measure is going to be in kilograms and the price. So if I go 2 kilograms there, and once again I have to put this recipe amount in here. Do I want to work with fractions? Do I want 2.5 rump steaks? More like 2.5, I would think. So I'll say no this time, and then any subsequent calculations for different serve numbers will come up as a decimal. And to go back to entering another ingredient that's not from the supplier, would come out of this there to exit the price list, and then we can go back to putting in whatever we might need here. Rice, 2 cups of rice or something like this, and each cup costing 70 cents. Do you want to work with fractions? This is a cup measure, so probably yes. Yeah, I'll choose yes. And so there you can see that we can compile the recipes as such. There's an option here to save the recipe to file and open, as I've just shown you before. Let's have a look at this price list page. If you want to create a price list, there's the price list options available. Let's think of some sort of supplier. Supplier 1, and you can add various ingredients in here for that supplier. Same sort of drop down list again. 1 onion costing 30 cents, for example, and this can be saved to file. Supplier 1. And let's look at one that's already been produced. Create or edit file. If I open up the one we looked at before, which was, I'll open another one. There's 2 I've prepared earlier on. Smith Supplies, Suburban Meats. Let's look at Smith Supplies. And there you are, all the ingredients there with their costs. So if I was to then choose that one, choose Smith Supplies, it would now appear here, and I could say cumin, a tablespoon would cost this much. Do I want more work with fractions? Yes. And once again, these can be saved. Now, as well as this, so you can see here that obviously we can let me open up another one. This is a korma recipe for a korma curry, beef korma curry, and up to 500 ingredients could be added here. Same in the price list file, up to 500 ingredients could be added. This is for price list for 2. Let's make it say 4, and there are all the new costings for 4. I want to save that. I'm going to call it, let's see, I'll save that as beef korma 4. Now, having produced all these dishes and the appropriate costing, it's now possible to look at the menu side. Here we have an allowance here to produce a menu. Maybe there's for a caterer, or there could be a requirement to produce meals for a catering function. And the way this would possibly happen is that you could look at the first starter, if you like, tempura fish. Now this is for 4 here. These so the recipe dishes have to be for 4 as well. If I had another dish, Kashmiri beef, and you say this, you can see the dish you've chosen caters for 2. This menu calls for 4 for this dish, so I'll have to go back out of that and restart that one again, and I'll have to find the one for 4. There we go. I can either go back to the recipe list and redo one for 4, but as we saw before, I've actually already made one for 4 here. So there it goes, Kashmiri beef, and the total cost is being produced here as well. And finally, we're going to put dessert in there. Once again, this dessert is only for 2. We need it for 4, so it was the let's go and find that recipe. We'll go back out again. It was this one here. It's only for 2 there. I'm going to make it for 4. All the ingredients are subsequently calculated, and I'm now going to say for 4 on this one. Right, let's have a look at creating that menu again. First of all, we're going to start with the tempura fish for 4 people, the Kashmiri curry for 4, and finally the apricot and vanilla pies for 4. And there is the entire list there, and just for the sake of it, I'll call it Asian dinner, and this can be saved to file using these icons here. Once again, there's a little message saying what each icon does, and that goes there. And you can see that throughout there's an icon here for printing, so we can, any of these recipes or menus or price lists can be printed out as necessary. So really the program allows for a comprehensive and detailed analysis of costs for recipes and set menus.